Our third learning objective is to describe the accounting profession and the organizations that govern it. The accounting profession. Okay, if you become an accountant, it could lead to many opportunities. Accounting is one of those majors and degrees which lead to a lot of other job opportunities over the course of a career. The highest designation that an accountant can receive is becoming a certified public accountant. To do that, you need to pass an examination which basically tests all of your schooling from freshman year of college through senior year, plus professional experience. So there's an exam, there's an educational component, and there's usually an experience component. You could work for a public accounting firm, which have the designation of CPA firm. What they do is they audit publicly traded companies on the stock exchange and smaller organizations, or you can go into private accounting, work for one of these large organizations, or you could work in government, non-profit, colleges, or hospitals. You can also go on to become an attorney, and a lot of CPAs who become attorneys specialize in taxation. The governing organizations for the accounting profession are the FASB or the FASB, the Securities and Exchange Commissions, the AICPA, and the IMA. The FASB stands for the Financial Accounting Standards Board, which is a private organization that makes accounting standards. The Securities and Exchange Commission is a government agency that regulates the stock markets. So if the Securities and Exchange Commission comes up with an accounting practice that they want accountants to follow, they have the force of law behind them. And the AICPA stands for the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. This is a private organization of public accountants that puts forth information regarding the profession, standards we should follow, ethics, rules, things like that. And in the area of managerial accounting, the IMA, the Institute of Management Accountants, would be similar to the AICPA, except it's an organization for private and not public accountants. Ethics. Ethics in accounting may come into play where there's a conflict of interest. The accountant would be located somewhere between the investors and creditors who want reliable financial information, and the companies want to attract investors. So the companies want to put forth the best information possible. And in the area of accounting, the accountant's vested interest lies with reporting financial information correctly for the benefit of these investors and creditors, and not so much as what the company wants. Audits, what are they? These are required by the Securities and Exchange Commission. These are examinations performed by independent CPAs who give an opinion on the financial statements if possible, whether they conform with generally accepted accounting principles, whether they're presented fairly, things along those lines. However, with recent accounting scandals, this has hurt investors' confidence in the accounting profession. So what the U.S. government did about 8 years ago was pass the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which makes it a criminal offense for anyone to falsify financial statements. So if you create false financial statements, you and investors and creditors rely on them, then there's a high probability that you're going to go to federal prison. Also, out of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, they created the Public Companies Accounting Oversight Board. It's also known as the PCAOB, and it's a watchdog of the accounting profession. So out of Sarbanes-Oxley, you've got these two things happening. Number one, it's a criminal offense to falsify financial statements, and number 2, they created the oversight board. So as far as standards of professional conduct, under the AICPA you have the Code of Professional Conduct, which guides public accountants in their work. And for the IMA, the Institute of Management Accountants, you've got a Standards of Ethical Conduct. It sets the minimum standards for private accountants and how they behave when performing work for a private entity.